Hello everyone, it's Kissy. Welcome to my channel. So, Spirit actually has inclined me to have a conversation that I don't prefer to have, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. The message is pertinent relative to the collective, or can apply to the collective for in some future reference. The information will be here, right? So the topic of conversation is death. It's not a comfortable topic for many individuals or families. People respond to death in very different ways. Whenever we go through transformative moments, Saturn returns, for example, or can feel like that. I'll be honest. Wherever Pluto is in your chart, obviously, you're going to be dealing with those themes heavily. So I have it in the 12th house, Pluto. And I have Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, in my 3rd and 4th house, cusping. With Saturn in my 10th, you can see how home life and work balance kind of go hand in hand in some ways. It's like I'm inclined to do this work for my emotional sake, Capricorn moon, and my Capricorn moon is concerned with protecting, creating a structure around my surroundings and my home. But to be a leader, or to at least have a purpose as a leader when it comes to matters of responsibility, matters of creating order out of chaos. And then to be able to see it when it comes to relationship dynamics through Pluto in the 12th house. I have Libra as my north node, as my destiny or my purpose would be to be able to help transform partnerships or enemies, those negative dynamics in partnership relationships, transform them into spiritual, or transform their spiritual implications or their spiritual impact on the physical reality of each other, of ourselves and others. So if you're in a family that is earth-based most of the time, and that spirituality to them is a matter of concepts to discuss, to see as a far-off thing, something that is not on a mundane level, day-to-day practice, then these concepts, excuse me, I have to cough. Okay, these concepts, throat chakra activation. We have Mercury retrograde, right? So I think it is definitely a time to review. And I believe it is also in Capricorn. So this will make sense why I'm discussing things as I am. Excuse me. So we're dealing with matters of patriarchy, father, and structure and order, and what it means to have responsibility and to be a leader of a family, a leader of a business, a leader of a community, a leader of a people. however it manifests. To be leader holds great responsibility for those that you feel responsible for. But now, these roles of responsibility, are they just patterns that we've just accepted even though they're not the role we wish to play, know how to play, are capable to play? Because they are roles nonetheless. So if you have the skills to manage a household effectively, and your partner has the skill to produce and hunt and gain material, the materials needed to protect and provide for the household. If the opposite were true, in other words, if the woman was better at running a business and the man was better at staying at home and taking care of the kids, like they, in the sense that they both be happier doing what comes naturally to them, the concept of those role labels being there stops them from even accepting a different way. So it's like, if it's not in that structure as it was created initially, based on the beliefs that were there and based on the label and what that label means, then anything that deviates from that becomes ugly, wrong, bad, blah, blah, blah. It becomes a death of the spirit within, because now you're put into a box to play a role that you signed up for temporarily, or that you were signed up for based on the culture, or that you were signed up for without your true passion being behind it. Or on some level you feel driven to be that role, but you're awful at it. Whatever the case might be, if you know that that is not your role, then you need to not participate in that role. And the problem is, most people cannot stop participating in roles that they gave up a long time ago. And that could be a sort of death. They give up the roles, they'll play the role, but they're not really there. They're not engaging fully into it. They're not enjoying it. They're not participating to their delight. They're not participating. In other words, you're born into a family that feels completely different to you. And so instead of embracing the family that you've been given and learning how to be at ease with who you are in that family structure, or discover what the need for safety derives from, if you're unwilling to do those things and you just accept, oh, this is my role and it sucks and I don't want to do it, and I hate the role that I have to play in the place that I have to play with, the people I have to play with, you can become bitter really fast about your reality. Your reality can become very ugly. And that's why most people take themselves out when they do. People live depressed because they feel a sense of needing to play a role. And that role doesn't fit them. And they don't have the ability to express themselves in ways, or to move without the sense of obligation, without the sense of fear, without the sense of shame, or without the sense of embarrassment, or without the sense of... Because on some level too, it could be spiritual laziness. Yeah, I want this, but I want it to be done for me, as opposed to I want this change, but I don't really want to do anything to make the change. I just want the world to change it for me. And people actually prefer that. But then it's like, it's preferable to changing oneself only until it's absolutely necessary. And that's when shit hits a fan. When it's absolutely necessary, that's when they want to respond and react and do stuff. And at that point, things are really out of control. This could be an example. A kid doesn't really put effort in their scholastics, right, in school, and keeping their grades up. They think, oh, life is just a game, blah blah blah. Then they get to a point where it's like, shit, push comes to shove, you're in a little corner, because it's almost like you have to change. You have your phase of being a high school student is up, and it's like you got to transition into being a young adult, right? Because up to that point, you can pretend to be a young adult. You can be excellent at everything you do, and be overly prepared for the next phase. Be more than anxious and willing to be at that next phase already. If it was up to you, you'd be at the top of the totem pole, right? Doing like the most exciting, or the most challenging, or the most prestigious, whatever it is, role. You're willing to prepare for it and take it on and do it. But there are individuals that want that, but they are not willing to do what it takes for it. And then it's like they really, really want this thing, or this lifestyle, or this way, or this whatever it is. That desire for wanting it makes it more prevalent. It puts more pressure to balance it out, whether you're ready for it or not. The more you resist something, the more you attract it. Personal epiphany in that moment. So the more you resist something, the more you attract it. Unconsciously, because your vibration is focused on, I don't want this thing. I don't want this thing. Because I'm afraid of this thing. It's almost like it's going to manifest more of that thing for you to face and deal with. Not because it's what you want to bring to your life necessarily, but it's what you have to deal with. It's like the debris you got to deal with to be ready to receive what's already coming in. Like a vortex, you're magnetizing and pulling in. Why am I even talking about that right now? Okay, but anywho. So, a lot of people feel like they're falling into a rabbit hole when everything kind of comes crashing in on them, right? But it's actually a really good sign that all these things are crashing in, because you're moving into the next phase. It only comes across as a shock. It only comes across as, fearfulness, the concept of the end of my life, or the end of the world, or this is the end of me. It could be anything. It could be you're going to perform for the first time on stage, and your fear can feel as if this is going to be the end of me if this fails, or if I mess it up. The body is responding out of that fear mechanism. It could be something as small as that. It could be facing a difficult conversation, facing a challenging situation. It's like, no, not that. You feel like there's no option, as if there was nothing else that you can do. Like, that's it. That's what death is, no option. Death means there's nothing you can do about it. And that's bullshit, because that is the illusion. The illusion is that you can't do anything about it. And the only time you can't do anything about it is after it's been done. Okay? Now, and we're talking about after it's been done in the physical. It's almost like that's the last straw. It's like, no. Let's say a spiritual concept or way of being, or a thought form, or an emotional belief, whatever you created, is spiraling and becoming a thing in your physical life. If it was something negative, you little by little start to see negative effects taking place, right? Deterioration, things that are falling apart. You see all that, it's because a change is happening, but that change can be what actually creates life. People get stuck and they fall apart in the things that are falling apart. They pass out before the gift arrives. Kind of feeling. It's like, how do you explain it? They quit before they quit before it's over, because they think it's over. And it's never actually over. Even in physical death, even in that, even the physical form passing over is a better way to say it. It's passing over to the next phase. Do you have a body there? Do you have a mind there? Can you see yourself in a new space? Can you actually see yourself living a new story? And if you can, you will. But that new story should be a constant evolution of the story you are living, the growth, the overcoming of, and then leveling up. It's like you can see the cycles that are coming through for you, but every time the cycle comes through and you react less and less out of the fear story, you're actually weaving together a continuation of the story. You're weaving together new possibilities. You're growing and manifesting out of it new, it's like, so someone is, let's say, going through a difficult phase in their health. We've been programmed and trained, oh yeah, the health is declining. That means that's it, it's over. And it's like at point A, when they got the news, they already made up their mind it's over. So they're living their life based on it's going to be over. They got the end game here, conclusion. And so now they're only playing the race up to this point. But if they knew, oh, the game isn't actually over, that's one I don't want to say one level of the game. It's more like one option of the game. You can change the scenery, right? Like, this game has all these rooms, but this person thought there was only one room, and that the objective was to get from here to here, and you either got here or you die, period. You either get here or you die, period. There is no, oh, I don't have to go there. I can go here and go here and give time to this to heal, this part of my life to heal. Let me go to this part of my life. Let me go to that part of my life. Most people don't have options in their life of things. It's almost like their role was I'm this and that's it. And when this ends, I end. Because but if this right now was not doing well, you can go here, focus here, and really dive into this. Get so much energy here that whatever was not working here eventually starts to balance out on its own accord. It balances out because there's no pressure on that aspect. There's no attention on that aspect. There's no focus on the brokenness. There's focus on the new creative works that can be done, on the new things. So it's like you always go to something that brings you life, even at the smallest scale. And I feel like the reason why I was asked to have this conversation is because many people get stuck in the role of the story of their family or the story of their culture. Forget, like, you might even be able to see other ways, but to you it might seem like it's distant. It's like that's their story, or that's a story for elsewhere, not for me. My story can't be changed. My story can't be fixed. My story is over. My story is done. Most people get stuck in their role, whatever that role is. If the role was, I'm going to work in this company for, forever, and this is what the story is going to look like. I'm going to be a provider. I'm going to have a perfect family. If that doesn't go accordingly, all those years can go by, and the person's feeling like a failure, wrong. And there's no joy. There's no peace. There's no joy. There's nothing. All because the focus is this, wherever the path that I'm taking on a habit is producing this result that I don't like. It's producing this result that I'm not content with. I can't go here, there, anywhere because I'm stuck in this. All of that is an illusion. I'm in this role, and there are parts of this role that I love, but there are parts of this role that I don't love. And what is it? That person has to change. That thing has to change. All those. What if it's not about that? What if you'll never be able to get out until you stop? Because those people aren't programmed to change your life. They're programmed to change theirs. You're not programmed to change theirs. So if you know that off the bat, you stop trying to control others. You stop trying to change others. You stop trying to fight for others to do what you think has to be done for you to do what you know you have to do. Because you're that kind of codependency, that kind of experience of I'll change when that changes. I'll change when they change. I'll become happy when all this is solved. What if nothing is supposed to get solved? What if nothing is supposed to be changed? What if nothing is supposed to be fixed except that you believe that has to be in order for you to be happy? Remove that and say, I get to be happy here and now. You mean despite the circumstance, despite the individuals, despite how far it seems that I have to go to enjoy the things I want to enjoy, or do the things I want to do, or be with those I want to be in the way that I want to be with them. All of a sudden, you start to just find incremental moments within the moment that you can choose resonates most with where you rather be without desperately rather being over there and believing you are there here and now. There is an illusion, because what you're actually doing is bringing it in. Sometimes we focus also on what we want. Like, that focus becomes like a chase. And that chase, anything that's being chased is pushed away. It's going to keep running. So it's like, that chase implies energetically, as we speak, that it's not here. If I have my cup of coffee here, I'm not driving to a Starbucks to go get coffee because I have coffee here. I'm not chasing coffee because I'm drinking coffee. My energy sitting here having coffee is not the same energy as me preparing or moving towards going to get coffee. The desire for coffee, I gotta go get coffee. That doing is a chase that is fun sometimes. Okay, you want to go to the beach, you want to do this. But when you do something, you should be able to do it effortlessly. You should be able to do it without conflict. Most people can't get from A to B simply because where they are, there's so much woven in, so much tied into it, that you can't even escape your own mental burdens to get the energy to even think of enjoying that. That's ridiculous. And I'm not mocking anyone. We've all, been in dark spaces, and we've all been stuck in situations, or we've all had moments where things feel hopeless, but those are momentary experiences. And the thing is, sometimes it helps if you were already if you already have memories of having happiness in your life. So when you deviate and lose that happiness and go into like some kind of dark cycle, descent into darkness, you realize, I know my compass. I know what makes me feel happiness. So I can always surrender into the darkness, because I can trust into it that the light will come through again. But some people come into their consciousness in darkness. So the idea of light for them, the idea of happiness and joy, they've never had it. They don't know what that feels like. They don't know what that, and so they're not miserable in their darkness. To them, that's normal. They get a taste of light. It might make them uncomfortable, but you can't take away that experience, and you cannot deny that that feels better than the darkness. And we're not talking about happy is better than sad. No, we're talking about being at peace, being in clarity, being feeling safe, feeling comfortable. That feels better than feeling uncomfortable, feeling scared, not knowing where you stand. It's like, obviously, right? It's obvious. But when people are in that state, in that darkness for so long, they actually forget that it's a matter of perception. And I'm not saying that in the middle of going through a crisis in a family, you're just gonna, flick your fingers and be like, yay, we're happy now. No. There's a process, but it's also about remaining level-headed, remaining in balance, allowing the pain, but not letting the pain destroy you, not letting the heartache hurt you. On a spiritual level, there's a level of acceptance of the chaos, the turmoil, the darkness, the instability, the uncertainty of we're passing through, I guess I could say, the galactic center at this point, or I don't know what day that'll be, but we're close enough, I guess you could say, that would kind of be the threshold, and so to speak, of can you pass through without fighting all your fears? Like, can you rest in peace? Rest in peace. Your life is at ease. It's like that is that's like a receiving of light. That's a receiving grace. That's receiving God, even if you think about it. It's like when you can rest in peace, ease into it. In any situation, this could be physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, spiritual pain. Because spiritual pain can feel like a longing for something that you've never had, but you feel that you're supposed to have it. That feeling can can feel like a pain because it forces you to see where you are and how far you feel from that which you long for, that you think is in here. And what you're longing for is that sense of resting in peace, basking in the sun. That is where you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel loved, you feel nurtured, you feel content, you feel pleased, you feel at ease, you feel resolved, you feel legacy. You can feel a sense of completion. And that sense of completion is like, and the sense of peace and certainty and calmness, it's like, you know you did a good job. You know you did well. You know because you put in your best foot forward. You know because you followed your heart. You know because you trusted the process. You accepted the challenges. You allowed things to unfold without your need to force or act on impulse due to insecurity or due to a sense of unsafety on any level. That state of being is what some can call that ecstasy. Some can call that, like, I'll have to put it this way because it's being shown. This is like an immensely pleasurable session of lovemaking. And you're like on a vacation, whereas your mind is clear. You don't, oh no, my job. Oh no, the family. Oh no, I gotta go here. I gotta go do this. No, there's like, the kids are taken care of and they're happy. The family's doing great and they're happy. You're not responsible to answer any emails, any phone calls. Everything's been done, taken care of. Everything has been done. You can just rest in peace. And whatever you need is here. And that's that. And it's like, okay, from this perspective, from this standpoint, I can move forward to the next phase. The problem is most people can't identify what the next phase is because they probably played out the phases and feel complete or feel a sense of like, I haven't thought of something new to do. I haven't thought of a new phase in my life. Maybe the new phase is to just rest in ease. Some people will call that death. Rest in peace. That's a peaceful death. That gives me like Betty White kind of vibes. Like I feel, at least from just, the experience I've had of watching her as I was growing up, kind of, she seems to be someone that lived her legacy, someone that was, I don't know anything about her personal life. Who knows? I could be wrong. They say that the people that make people laugh the most are probably the saddest people. But I don't know about her. I just feel like if she wasn't, she should be proud that she did what like the song, I Did It My Way. That was a message that came through. It was a little girl. I feel like the divine feminine inner child has been healed. And it's like, I did it my way implies, following your heart, following your true north, and trusting that as bad as things might look, or as quote unquote wrong as it may be, or as, staying true to your vision, staying true to the level of integrity with yourself that you choose to have, staying true to the level of peace you choose to live in. A lot of things had to fall apart around you. A lot of things had to become like volcanic eruptions around you, that it's like creating a sense of instability underneath your feet. Like, under no circumstances were you allowed to budge on standing firm on your ideal, on your truth. It was like, no, this is how it's going to be. It's like no longer accepting an environment that was unstable, no longer accepting again, this could be in anything. This could be in a family and in business. This could be in terms of your money, in terms of your passions, okay? Your hobbies, even your creative works. All of that, whatever it is that you value, whatever it is that you choose to create, you say, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I like to do. This is what I definitely won't or can't do. Then there has to be an integrity that doesn't allow you to deviate. The cat. And to deviate, it doesn't mean you can change your mind. But there are some things that you may have closed the door on. And that those things that you closed the door on doesn't mean that opportunities won't be made available to explore those dynamics in the future. It's just a matter of, I'll explore these dynamics in the future on an elevated level, on a more sophisticated level, on a more wise, because there's wisdom in trusting our natures. So it's like, there's certain belief systems that you have to acknowledge when it comes to living a healthy, long life. Some habits don't lead to that outcome, but people want to pretend that they're going to lead to this outcome while still allowing their ego to allow them to do things that it's not bad because society says it's bad. It's bad because of how your experience of it has manifested, how you feel about it. So that's why I don't say, some people can smoke and it doesn't take away anything from their life. It enhances their life and makes their life perfect. I mean, some people will feel that and because that is how they feel, because the effects of it actually make them feel well, then therefore they feel well. Medicine, modern day medicine, has made us follow a pattern that it's like, oh, if you have this and this and that, it equals that you'll have this. And people are programmable so easily that the minute they get symptom A and then they see even the slightest sign of symptom B, that's it. They concluded that that's what it is, and now they're living based on that outcome. And it's like, why would you accept an outcome that ends you before you want to go? Why would you accept a program that would destroy you, or accept a program that says that you suffer, or that you have pain, or that you have anything wrong? It's like whatever pains we experience, whatever suffering we're experiencing, is because of a lack of unawareness. The moment you become aware is of, oh, these dynamics cause me to suffer. It's a pattern. So the body's responding to the pattern. Okay, so let me not respond to the patterns in the same way. Let me interact. If I have to interact, I'll interact with it in a way that doesn't make me feel like this. And you start shifting the dial of your own emotional balance. Whew, Lord. Did that cover everything I had to say about the death cycle? Because I feel like, to people, death is just, someone physically dies. And that's it, It's like that's one of the biggest traumas of all cultures. And because we've been conditioned by religion, by history, by, life experience, that's just how it's always been. But have we considered that doesn't have to continue to be the way it's always been? What if there are groups of individuals or an entire culture that is aware that's based on a belief system that's faulted, to pass over, cross over, however you want to do it, is going between the realm of light or dark, is going between the physical and the spiritual. The spiritual is within us, the physical is everything we see outside our body. From within us, we're experiencing the world through our senses. So we have to accept where we are in order to be able to shift our realities. Like, for example, what was it that I was doing? Okay. You go for a walk in a beautiful park, or you take a really delicious bubble bath, or you're eating a really good meal. Those are the things you probably want to do for the rest of your life, is enjoy a beautiful meal, enjoy a relaxing bath, take a walk in a beautiful space, feeling like the world is beautiful. So a practice I've been doing is when I'm in those places, general spaces, I could be anywhere. And that's what I'll say. I could be anywhere right now. Where could I be? I could be in Paris. I could be in New York. I could be in Miami. I could be in California. I can be on a business trip. I can be on vacation. I can be on a escapade. I can be in Rome. Because whenever I have traveled, wherever I have been, the places that you take the time to sit with that and appreciate, what you're actually appreciating is the peacefulness and the joy of experiencing life, of being here, of having moments. And sometimes you're caught up in the moment. Let's say you take a vacation with your family and you guys are having a great time. You're sightseeing, you're eating, you're dancing, you're laughing, you're shopping. I mean, life is fun and dandy. But it's not until you're by yourself right before you go to bed, or it's not until you're in the shower, in the bath, that you can reflect on the day and appreciate, wow, that was a fun day, that was enjoyable. You get a snapshot of that enjoyable experience. whether it's at the dinner table with the family, whether it's dancing, whether it's a moment of laughter with each other, whatever funny thing occurred in the moment, you have it in one of those settings. You're either having a delicious dinner, you're either walking either by yourself or with someone else, and you're appreciating, you're contemplating, you're looking at the world, and you're like, wow, I'm here. I'm here. I get to exist. I get to be here. And I don't know, for me, I've always had those moments when I'm walking in some beautiful landscape, or when I'm taking a nice bath and relax, my body's just completely in relaxed mode, or when I'm enjoying a really delicious meal. It's like, damn, this is good. There's a few other things that we can add on to that, but I'll leave that to your own imaginings of those kinds of moments where you can be like, this was the best feeling in the world. That to me is, you could be anywhere. So when you're having those moments, like my cup of coffee, and I'm sitting looking at the clouds, looking at the wind, looking at the trees, I can sip that coffee, look at the scenery, and I can say I can be anywhere. I can be in France right now. There's nothing different. I would be seeing the exact same thing in France. A beautiful sky, beautiful trees, and smelling the smell of a delicious coffee. Because it's not where I am in the physical, but where I am internally that matters. That is what you carry with you. That is what you take with you. And I could be sitting here and having coffee with a friend and talking with my friend this very exact conversation, or I could be having this conversation with a lot of my friends. So I thought I was going to do a reading, but it seems to me that that was the message. Do we do a reading? Do we do a reading? Do we do a reading? Yes, we will do a reading, but I think we're going to do it on a separate video. So that'll be all, folks. I'll come back soon. Take care.